Yo, motorheads, let's take a look at the electric Mini. Yeah, look, I know, it's got crap range, but I think you fellas should consider it anyhow. So, look, boil up a hot dog and hang out a bit while I try to make my case, alright? But first, I just wanted to give some love to our small but potent gaggle of subscribers. Look, the support has been amazing, and I'm pretty sure it would have thrown in the towel by now if it wasn't for you guys, so thank you.
I love you.
And to say thank you, we're going to be offering everyone else who might be watching this video the opportunity to subscribe at a dramatically reduced price of, that's right, absolutely free. I wouldn't want you to miss out on this chance of a lifetime, so go ahead, subject that sub button to some punishment via some semi-violent button smashing. Alright, so an electric Mini. Yep, look, I know you don't see these around much, and you certainly don't hear that much about them, and that's probably because the range on these things is pretty lousy. Yeah, look, it's 2022, and Mini is selling an EV that can only go 114 miles. Yeah, 114 miles, which makes it one of the shortest ranges you'll get from a new EV these days. I mean, hell, even that base Nissan Leaf's gonna get you 140 miles. Oh, and that Hyundai Ioniq, I guess that's gonna get you about 170. Then you got Lucid dropping an EV with a 500 plus mile range. I mean, even though that thing's upwards of like $170,000, yeah, but it does seem a little bit weak to be offering 114 miles of range on any new EV, but I still think it makes sense. So let's learn a little bit more about this little fella before I really try to make my case. All right, so spec-wise, that tiny little battery's got a capacity of 32.6 kilowatt hours, but we've kind of already gone over this. Yep, I know, small battery equals short range. So, all right, so what about the motor? Well, some better news here. Although it only makes 184 horsepower, it does produce 270 pound-feet of torque, which is enough to make this thing, well, at least feel pretty quick. Or at least quicker than its 0 to 60 time of 6 seconds flat. So I guess this is where I'll make my first point in defense of this little electric bulldog. So the Mini has never been a big, high-powered beast of a thing. Nope, I mean quite the opposite in fact. The recipe is simple, but effective. Small and lightweight with the wheels all the way out into the corners, and this thing can handle like really well and change direction super quick. So yeah, I mean look, imagine adding 800 pounds of batteries to this thing. I mean, kiss those driving dynamics goodbye. I mean, see you later, right? All right, so charging wise, as you'd expect, it can utilize DC fast charging, but then again, so can like literally everybody else. But it can't take that super crazy fast juice. I mean, it's capped at 50 kilowatts, but then again, with a battery this small, it really just doesn't need anything stronger, and it's still gonna charge it like to 80% in 36 minutes, so. All right, looking at level 2, or that one that you're gonna have in your garage. So full charge can be had in as little as 4 hours flat. It's pretty solid. But let me make another little point right here. So, all right, look, I know public charging is generally crappier than a toilet fire, but look, it's changing. So between Uncle Sam and that private sector, I fully believe that this disaster that is public charging right now, well, it's gonna get fixed, and probably soonish. I mean, I'm not sure how soon, but it's gonna get fixed. And assuming that's the case, if you can grab a quick top off here and there, then maybe 114 miles isn't all that bad. I mean, for comparison's sake, 114 miles of range is like, I don't know, between a quarter tank and a half tank of gas maybe with most cars. The difference being that your gas light will go on usually with like 50 miles of range to go, which for whatever reason will start to make you panic just a little bit. But I mean, come on. I bet you there's like 100 gas stations within 50 miles of where you're sitting right now. I mean, what does this mean? Well, look, you sort of just have to rethink this whole range thing, or else you're just gonna drive yourself nuts. All right, so sort of saving the best for last here, and look, the biggest point I can make here, and something that should quiet the angry, range-anxious crowd, is this. This thing's a freaking deal. I mean, it is mega affordable. And notice I didn't say cheap here. Not cheap, affordable. You can legitimately buy one of these things for under 30 grand. And that's before you get any help from Uncle Sam, which will toss in a minimum of 7,500 bucks, and there could actually be even more depending on the final details of that crazy infrastructure bill. So yeah, you can literally buy a brand new electric Mini for like 22 grand and change. That's amazing. And this isn't some crappy plastic disaster of an interior with casino carpet quality materials like some of our domestic options, nor does it sport a face not even a mother could love. I'm looking at you, Chevy Bolt. Well, and most Chevys for that matter, but that's a different story. Look, if you haven't been in a Mini in a while or ever, just check it out. I mean, it's actually very nice on the inside. Build quality is up there, and yeah, I know it's got love it or hate it styling, but at least it's styled unlike so much else you're gonna find at this price point. All right, so look, that's my case. And if you can get over the range, this thing is easily the value leader in the EV space for now. That said, let's go ahead and build ours. All right, so Mini is sort of front loading all the options here with these optional trims, and the standard trim, or what they're calling the signature trim, oh look, it's a good start. You get those heated seats and the heating steering wheel. I mean, those aren't even standard on a bunch of more expensive cars, so look, that's cool. You also get an almost 9-inch media touchscreen with navigation, LED headlights and leatherette. It's totally fine, and it's not special, but yeah, it's fine. I mean, this is more than I was expecting, to be honest. Anyway, if you want to step up to the Signature Plus trim, well, be prepared to depart with 4 grand of your cash stash, but for that 4 grand, you do get nicer upholstery, you get that nice giant panoramic sunroof, and the upgraded Harman Kardon sound system, amongst some other small things. And at the top of the trim tree, we got what they're calling the Iconic trim, which comes with everything from the other 2 trims, but basically adds some nice leather on the inside, some piano black trim on the outside, an alarm system, and this like fancy headliner. Now, look, the value play here is just to get the base model with hardly any options. I mean, look, maybe no options whatsoever. The standard features are actually very nice for the price point, and you can get out of here at like 22 grand and change, again, which is amazing. And probably the smartest buy here, but look, I'm not that smart, so I'm gonna spec this thing up a little bit. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pull the trigger on the Signature Plus trim for that 4 grand. And next is time to pick some paint. And this is just a little disappointing. I mean, look, on the one hand, Mini isn't gonna ding you for picking some nice metallic paint, so you can kind of just pick whatever color you want because there's no price difference. But, I mean, come on, Mini. Could we get any more boring with these color selections? I mean, we got 2 blacks, 2 grays, a green, and a red option. It's kind of weak sauce, Mini. How about some fun options here? Seriously. Anyway, look, I guess we'll go with that Moonwalk Gray Metallic as we start to save up for a wrap, maybe. So roof-wise and mirror caps, yeah, look, just get what you want, but I'd pick the yellow mirror caps as they're sort of exclusive to the electric Mini, unless you're getting that red, as it's not an option if you're setting that red paint. And look, I don't know, roof-wise, I guess we'll go with white, but I couldn't really tell you why. All right, so time to pick some wheels, and look, there's only 2 size options here. You got your 16s or your 17s, and I don't know, 16s these days just feel a little teeny tiny, so we're definitely going with the 17s for sure. Now, the 16s are basically your only choice if you're sticking with the entry-level trim, but that's okay. Look, you're already getting a hell of a deal. What are you complaining about? So all the 17s are reserved for the upper trims, and unfortunately, the wheels I'm kind of digging, you know, the wheels that are on all the press cars, well, look, they're reserved for just the Iconic trim, which we are not going to pick up, but I am kind of into these 17-inch tentacle spoke black wheels. Yeah, look, yeah, these will do. I like it. Okay, so let's take a look at the inside, and right away things get a little bit more fun. This checkered cloth is pretty nuts, and I'm kind of into it, but I'm not really sure how I'd feel about it in like year 2 of ownership. Look, if you're looking for something kind of funky, well, here you go. You can also get this black cloth and leatherette option. That's fine. And you can upgrade to this leather for like 500 bucks. Yeah, I guess there's a little something for everybody here, but man, what the hell? I was bagging on Mini for boring as crap paint options, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun on the inside. That checkered cloth is it. All right, guys, almost done, so hang in there. We've got the interior trim next. Again, pretty simple. We're going with the piano black unless you grab that Iconic trim. Then you can get the special Mini electric quote-unquote trim, but I don't know, probably not worth it. That's just my humble opinion though. It's kind of funny that the next option here is transmission. Looks like we got ourselves a lazy web designer, boys. So anyway, moving on. All right, packages. Yep, and there aren't any. So on to the options. And again, I guess not a whole lot here. Look at this. I'm not sure why you'd want to remove the moonroof, but if you hate moonroofs, well, Mini's got you covered. The leather steering wheel is only available with the iconic trim, so that's not even really an option if you think about it. I mean, then you got the heads-up display, which is pretty great. And look, if we were going with the standard trim here, this would probably be the only option I'd pony up for, but as it turns out, it comes with our trim level, so right on. Lastly, there's an alarm system you don't need and roof rails that might come in handy, but I'm sure these can be picked up at your local dealer at a later date if you're finding that you randomly need to move your bike or something. I don't know. All right, so that's it. We're coming in at just under 36 grand for a pretty well equipped electric Mini. Factor in the tax credit and we're well below 30 grand for a small, premium, fun EV with god-awful range. Kind of think you sort of get what you pay for here and then some. I mean, actually, if you keep it cheap and roll with the base model, then I think this just might be your best bang for your buck in the EV world. Yeah, so look, there's serious range limitations, but honestly, how often are you really driving more than 114 miles in a day? Like, it's probably not that often, but I guess if you do, yeah, this is not the car for you at all. Otherwise, if you're looking for a small, fun, and cheap EV, I think you could do a lot worse. And don't you dare buy a Bolt, you turkeys.